The example I always use is Bobby Shmurda, right? That video was shot on an iPhone, right? It was a catchy dance. He threw his hat in the air and never came back down.
We still haven't found it.
I literally landed in New York and looked up.
We still haven't found it.
It never came back down. It was a good beat and just a good song. And it caught wildfire, right?
It wasn't even his, by the way. Fun fact.
It was Lloyd Banks.
Yeah.
But I say that to say
Jalil Beats.
he didn't spend $1 million on his video.
Didn't have it.
Nah.
And
No.
those days are over.
It's fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The people want what's authentic. They want what's real, and they want content.
Yeah.
Content is more important. That's why when I tell people all the time, like content. It doesn't cost anything to pull your iPhone out and just start recording, right? You're gonna figure it out as you go. But if you're waiting to like have the perfect lighting, have the perfect budget, you're always gonna be waiting.
Yeah.
Because nothing is ever going to be perfect, right?
We find that. I mean, we know that firsthand.
It's part of the game.
Nah, it's part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Content is king. And you have to figure out content for yourself because nobody can tell you what kind of content you're going to make, right?
Yeah.
It got to be something that is unique and solely you, right? Because even with me, like, so when I started doing videos and then I started doing Here's How, like, I didn't see anybody else doing Here's How. Nobody. Here's how. Like, it would be like, how to make $1 billion. Here's how.
Yeah.
You go on Instagram right now, you see a bunch of Here's How videos. But that's dope, though, because that's saying that people find value in it, right?
Absolutely.
So they only
At first, it was like, yo, they biting my stuff. But I was like, yo, it's cool though, because it's like that's the impact.
With how connected we all are, you haven't done anything until someone copies it.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that, because I even see CNN doing it. I saw CNN.
That's one. Yeah. I got that text.
I saw CNN
You got that text.
Yeah, that would make me, I'd be a little tight. I'd be a little.
I got that text.
Nah, but the thing about it is that they can never duplicate your brain.
At
so
all.
It's nothing for me to come up with a new idea.
At all.
So that's why it's like, it's not even, because things move so quick on the internet anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that's another thing too. You can never stay stagnant, and you have to stay up to speed. So like now I'm noticing that Instagram TV is getting more views than Instagram videos. I think Instagram is doing that on purpose. So Instagram, this is not a conspiracy theory. Instagram has an algorithm, right? And
For those who don't know,
they change their algorithm regularly. They change their algorithm regularly, right? And they also they have all kinds of tricks in place to monitor and to restrict your growth if they feel the need.
100%. They want you have to pay Zuckerberg. It's the way it is. That's how they want. I mean, if you're not hip to it, if you don't actually strategize and go through it and kind of jump through the hoop, if you try to play the same game too long, they'll be like, "All right, sick." Mark Zuckerberg says,
"No." So it happened to me. They shadow banned me twice. So if anybody is not familiar with shadow ban is when they limit the reach of your post without you actually knowing that they limit the reach of your post. So what happens is that hashtags is also another great way to grow your following. Hashtags does work. They do work, but you have to be careful with hashtags, right? Because with hashtags, so what I was doing before is that it was like copy and paste. Like I think you're allowed to put 30 hashtags on a post, right? But I would copy and paste it and put it in the caption, because that way nobody can see it. It's kind of tacky to me to put it in your post, right? But it works. You can see the analytics on it, and it'd be like half of the people was reached through hashtags, right? But what happens is that if you use the same group of hashtags,
that copy and paste theory,
what happens is that now it alerts Instagram, and they look at your account, they flag your account, right? So now they look at it like it might be spam. They shadow ban you. The first time I got shadow banned, I didn't know what was going on. My post just dropped dramatically as far as engagement. How I knew I got shadow banned is that, so I put a hashtag, like one hashtag, like earn your leisure on a post. And then I searched that hashtag and my post wasn't on there. So that means that they took, the hashtag is on there, but it's not showing publicly. Right. And then I Googled what that meant, and then I found out that that's shadow ban. Shadow ban works, it's 14 days to the exact moment. This is true, because I tested it.
Twice.
It happened to me twice. 14 days to the exact moment, so now I don't even use hashtags at all.
Hashtags are dead now. Like that's a huge component. They're not dead, but it's you got to mind you got to kind of be mindful of it. You got
to be very careful with hashtags. That's extremely important, because like I said, it is a great way to grow. But if you're using the same hashtags, you will get shadow banned.
100%.
So another thing I want to talk about is that a lot of times people, all right, you're going into Instagram to monetize, right? It's important to know the numbers of monetization and what you're looking to do. So what I mean by that is that sometimes a page can have, I'll give you an example. So I know a Instagram model, bartender type. She has, like, let's say millions of followers, right? Like, let's say 3 million followers.
Right.
I know somebody else who is just a regular person who has 150,000 followers, right? The person who has 150,000 followers, I know for a fact is making more money on Instagram than the $3 million bartender. The reason why is that the 3 million follower bartender is limited in the post that she can, monetize, right? It's like how many companies are going to pay a bartender to post, right? You're limited to lingerie, tummy tees,
waistbands.
Yeah. Maybe Fashion Nova if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Right?
I had a very high end.
Get to it.
So now you have 3 million followers, but it's hard to monetize that. Right. Where the person with 120 followers is a clean page. So now they have major corporations, Macy's, Calvin Klein, all kind of stuff like that are paying, their budget is way higher.
Oh, for
Thousands of dollars, $5,000 for one
Mm-hmm.
Instagram post, right? So that's something to keep in mind too, because also on YouTube, a YouTube channel, a financial YouTube channel like ours, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. A financial YouTube channel can have, let's say, 10,000 subscribers. That's more valuable than maybe even 100,000 followers to a page that's cursing, that has all kinds of stuff, right? Because they're not going to get ads.
Right.
YouTube is very restrictive of who they give ads to.
Yep.
They watch it. Even with our post, we had one video with Al Harrington when we talked about the cannabis industry. We didn't get ads on that video because it was cannabis.
The fact that the title had marijuana in it was enough.
Oh, they
for them to say, no, this is too risky.
No, for sure.
So I mean, that's one of those examples where we're learning as we go.
Got to.
So like, that's key.
Move fast and break things.
Yeah.
So when you look at monetizing, so what I mean by that is that when you look to grow a page to monetize it, it's not always all about followers. It's about the content that you're putting out and the quality of your post and what you're doing, and also engagement is very important as well.
Yeah.
So don't always get caught up in numbers, because your smaller amount of numbers can actually be very valuable if A, you have strong engagement, and B, you have clean content or content that can be valuable to people that want to use your page as a for advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
And also I will stress the fact that you have to think about long-term game, right? So what I mean by that is that people get in and that they want to make money in Instagram right away, and it's obvious. They get like 300 followers and they start trying to promote a seminar or come to my online course. It's like, no, you don't even have a big enough platform, right?
Right.
You gotta give out samples first. Right? Yep. So it might take a year or 2 years of giving out free information, free posts.
Yeah.
You're growing your following. Now you can offer a paid product. It doesn't make sense to try to offer a paid product before you've even established credibility. I see that all the time though. People are so thirsty for business. As soon as they get on Instagram, 2 weeks later, I see them promoting paid events.
Mm-hmm.
Those are never going to work. It's never going to work. You have to grow your following, and then you get money on the back end. The back end is always more lucrative than the front end. I can't stress that enough. People need patience. It doesn't happen overnight. Patience is very key.
Yeah.
Extremely key. And the last thing that I'll talk about with the Instagram growth is that we talked about the long game, but also I cannot stress this enough either. You have to put in work. It sounds very easy. It's not. Social media is like any other job campaign that you're running. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to sit down, figure out a strategy, figure out what works for you, because everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
And you have to commit time into doing that. If you're not willing to commit time, maybe it's not for you, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I say, everybody doesn't have to grow a social media page.
Yeah, that was like a comment, like somebody put in the comments when we were shouting out Mike. And it was like, well, if he has 1,500, you have 8,000. Why didn't he do it for himself? And that was one of the things. It was just like, he doesn't want to grow his page, right? We'd rather like and our team is just like, yo, if Rashad has this thing going, like let's just support him.